I'm Cole Jenkins, and I'll be giving an oral presentation on the incident report involving Bernie Sanders on November 4th, 2019. So the summary. So process technician Bernie Sanders was working the night shift on November 4th, 2019 at approximately 11:30 p.m. He hit a bollard as he was making a right turn off of 6th Street onto Avenue B. During this time, it was a very hard rain, and the front end of his pickup truck came into contact with the bollard. And if you don't know what a bollard is, this is a bollard. So the possible causes. So his vision could have been impaired due to the deplorable conditions of that night. He's also a new operator, so he's not used to working night shifts. So he could have been tired or fatigued. And he's also inexperienced in this facility, so he might have not known that the bollard was hanging out into the road in that area. And he could have also possibly been under the influence of drugs and or alcohol. So concerns. One of the concerns is the position of this bollard was causing these incidents. It was originally in the right position until January 2019 when a semi-truck struck it, and that knocked it out into the road. During this incident, the truck also knocked off the high visibility covering on the bollard, so it is much harder to see at night now. Sanders could have also been, we were also concerned whether process technician Bernie Sanders was under the influence of drugs or alcohol, but to determine that, we're going to have to administer a drug test later in the investigation. The bad weather is also a concern because that could have easily impaired his vision along with his inexperience in this facility. So recommendations, I recommend we drug test Bernie Sanders to make sure that he was not under the influence of drugs or alcohol at that time. And we're going to survey the area when the conditions are similar to that of the night of the incident to see how easy or hard it is to see the bollard. So the progress report. So the purpose is to identify the causes of his incident as well as the other incidents that occurred before his that were similar to his. And we're going to determine whether the people involved are at fault or if there are other outside factors that are causing these incidents. So as I said, the bollard was in the right position until in January 2019, a semi-truck struck it and knocked the bollard into the road as well as taking the high visibility covering off of it. There have been no more incidents with semi-trucks since the original incident because we have rerouted them to take a different route. But the amount of incidents with employee and contractor pickup trucks has increased sharply. So during the night shift, he made a right turn onto Avenue B off at 6th Street and hit the bollard. He reported it to his supervisor. There was an instrument tech in the area that heard the crash, ran over to investigate, saw what had happened, asked Bernie Sanders if he was okay, notified his supervisor. After that, emergency response team came about 10 minutes later, so at about 11:40 or so, they arrived. They checked out Mr. Sanders, made sure he was okay. Then they brought in the medical to make sure he was okay again. So the introduction. The main cause of this event, as well as all the others, can be blamed on the bollard. To ensure operator isn't to blame, we're going to drug test him, and this is permissible because OSHA states. OSHA standard 29 CFR 1904.35 states drug testing to evaluate the root cause of a workplace incident that harmed or could have harmed employees. If the employer chooses to use drug testing to investigate the incident, employers should test all employees whose conduct could have contributed to the incident, not just the employees who reported injuries. So after we administered the drug test, he passed. We shifted our focus onto the bollard. Figure 1 shows a sharp increase in incidents involving pickup trucks after the original incident in January 2019. We have decided to implement a new safe driving program, and according to an article found on the cdcfoundation.org, it stated that motor vehicle crashes are the leading cause of work-related injury deaths in the United States, accounting for 22,000 deaths from 2003 to 2014. On-the-job vehicle crashes have a devastating impact on workers and their families, communities, and businesses. In 2013 alone, motor vehicle crashes cost U.S. employers $25 billion, $671,000 for death, and $65,000 per non-fatal injury. Workplace crashes affect business through lost productivity, medical and workers' compensation costs, liability, and reputational damage. And we expect that the new safe driving program should reduce the amount of incidents involving motor vehicles and also reduce all those costs that were aforementioned. So our test results, we analyzed the data and realized that most of the main cause of all these problems, all these incidents, was that the bollard was sticking out into the road and it was missing its high visibility cover. And the bollard was never fixed because we didn't have enough funding, and a work order was written, but maintenance just had too many other high priority things to do, and there was also a lack of funding to get the equipment and the proper manpower to fix it. Our final task is to implement a safe driving program to reduce the number of incidents involving motor vehicles plant-wide, and we're gonna incorporate that into off-boarding training, and we're gonna have safety meetings weekly about that to make sure everybody's educated on that. So in the conclusion, so the project to refurbish the bollard is underway. Acquired funds for equipment and labor so we've acquired the funds for equipment and labor, and we've bought new covers for all the bollards that are surrounding the one that was hit, so that you can definitely see them now. And the safe driving program is being developed for onboarding, and it's already been introduced into safety meetings so that people can talk about them and make sure everybody knows what they need to do. And this new program is expected to help save money, as it states in OSHA. So here's figure 1. As you can see, this is when the original incident was, and there's a very sharp increase in incidences since that. So OSHA states motor vehicle crashes cost employers $60 billion annually in medical care, legal expenses, property damage, and/or lost productivity. They drive up the cost of benefits such as workers' compensation, social security, and private health and disability insurance. In addition, they increase company overhead involved with administering these programs. The average crash costs employers $16,500. When a worker has an on-the-job crash that results in an injury, the cost to their employer is $74,000. Costs can exceed $500,000 when a fatality is involved. Off-the-job crashes are also costly to employers as well. So, Director, so we determined that the bollard was the main cause in all these incidences, and we have since fixed that. So the safe driving policy, we've implemented that to reduce the amount of motor vehicle crashes and incidents all around in the plant. And the safe driving program procedure, they're going to talk to the employees in the safety meetings to make sure they know, and then all new employees that are going to be hired are going to be exposed to that program on onboard training. And if there are any more questions about this, you can contact me at colejenkins@plant.com, or my number is 985-867-5309. Thank you.